A lot of talks have been had about what the Arizona Cardinals can do with the 4th overall pick. I get it. We all want Marvin Harrison Jr., but let's talk about what the Arizona Cardinals can do with their second first-round pick. Let's dive into who can potentially fall to the Arizona Cardinals with the 27th overall pick. Let's get started. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back into another video. Definitely do me a huge favor, smack the like button on this video and subscribe for more Arizona Cardinals content. Y'all, we're gonna have so much news coming this coming off season, free agency, draft, rumors, all that different stuff. So make sure you are subscribed and also have your post notification bell on as well, just here when we drop the next video or when we go live. All right, everybody, let's go and dive right into it. Let's talk about the Arizona Cardinals, shall we? Now, obviously, we are still in the thick of things for the Arizona Cardinal offseason, and although it's been pretty quiet here for the Cardinals side of it all, right? No firings, no rumors, no anything like that. We still have a lot to talk about, right? And that all has to do with the offseason, with free agency, as well as the NFL draft. Now, right now where the Arizona Cardinals are currently slated at, we all know that we have the 4th overall spot here in the NFL draft, which is a pick that belongs to us. Now, we do have the Texans pick as well, and we've watched that go from pick 5 down to 16 down to the 20s, and now it's actually stand pat at the 27th overall spot here in the NFL draft. Now, I don't think anybody expected the Houston Texans to be as good as they were. It sucks, right? None of us expected it. We all were expecting two top 5 picks or 2 top 10 picks, but it didn't work out that way. But there is still some people that the Cardinals can potentially target later part of the first round. Now, I'm not going to get mad at it. Yes, it sucks, but in the grand scheme of things, there's still some really good talented people out there. Now, for the 4th overall pick, I think it's a pretty consensus in terms of we have to kind of wait to see what the Chicago Bears are going to do. I think for the most part, most people are in their minds of if Marvin Harrison Jr. is there, you got to take him, right? If he's not there, then obviously Monty Austin-Fort's going to cook and we're going to allow him to do his thing, but nobody's really talking about what the Arizona Cardinals can potentially do with that 27th overall spot, right? Now, as of right now, that is where it's going to stay because the Texans ended up getting booted out of the playoffs over the weekend, and now it feels good as an Arizona Cardinal fan because now we officially know what we have heading into the 2024 NFL draft. So let's talk about some potential targets for the Arizona Cardinals. Now, it all just kind of really depends, right? If the Cardinals do miss out on Marvin Harrison Jr. and maybe get a Joe Ol or an Olu Fashanu, then we most likely do not need an offensive tackle or a guard in the later part of the first round. Now, if the Cardinals want to double down, then that's completely cool, right? I love the idea of building trenches, but I don't see the Arizona Cardinals doing that. If we somehow do get a Marvin Harrison Jr. or a number 1 wide receiver, then I can definitely very well see the Cardinals potentially getting a guy that's still a first round talented player, but it's going to fall out of the top 10, out of the top 20, right? So let's focus on some potential targets. What I would love the Cardinals to do, and obviously let's live in a scenario where the Cardinals do address the wide receiver position, whether that's Marvin Harrison Jr., Roma Dunze, or maybe even Malik Neighbors. Let's just live in a world that we address that, right? For that second pick in the first round, I would love the Arizona Cardinals to either go trenches, right? And that's either on the offensive side of the ball or the defensive side of the ball, or even cornerback. Man, we need so much help in any sense of the imagination. The Cardinals need absolute help. So this is a couple different players we can kind of throw out there, right? Now, let's first focus on the offensive line spot, right? Let's talk about Tyler Guyton. Now, this is a guy here out of Oklahoma, definitely a first-round talented guy. I would love the Arizona Cardinals to potentially go after him, which is obviously seen as a first-round talent. Because of the idea of DJ Humphries, there's so much unknown. We don't know what's going to happen. When is DJ Humphries coming back? Is he going to get traded? Is he going to stay as a Cardinal? We don't know. So at least if we do draft a guy in the first round, it does kind of give us a little bit of a relief as Cardinal fans, right? Whatever they decide to do with Paris, if they keep him right or they move him to the left, it gives us some flexibility here if we do bring in a Tyler Guyton. So I would love that guy to potentially come for the Cardinals, and not just that, a Jordan Morgan. Now, I didn't really know too much about him. He is an offensive tackle out of Arizona. Now, definitely big shout out to one of my subscribers that actually told me about him. Once I was doing a little bit more research, yes, this guy is a guy that plays on the outside or potentially on the inside for the guard position. So you could potentially go after a Jordan Morgan, which, like I said earlier, we need all the help we potentially can get. Keep our quarterback upright, and those are two potential guys that can fall, you know, in the later part of the first round, and hopefully being there, right? Fingers crossed. Now let's move over to a different position. Now let's live in a world where the Arizona Cardinals don't address the offensive side of the ball, which I really do hope that they actually do, because man, we need help for sure. But if the Cardinals decide to go the cornerback route, which we need help in as well, I've seen so many mock drafts out there that have a lot of these cornerbacks falling in the later part of the first round. Now I get it, right? Mock drafts are a dime a dozen. Everybody's got different opinions on where these players could potentially fall, but it got me really excited as a Cardinal fan to potentially get one of these guys as an Arizona Cardinal, especially if we already addressed the wide receiving position with the 4th overall spot. I think what the Arizona Cardinals can absolutely benefit from is getting one of these two guys, right? Now, I like a lot of these cornerbacks that are slated to be first round talent, like your Nate Wiggins, like your Cooper DeJean, like your Terrion Arnold, like your Kool-Aid McKinstry, right? I like them all. I think they're all really good, talented. Now, obviously, this is going to be the decision of Monty Austin-Fort and what he really feels like is going to benefit from being on our team, or who fits us a lot better. But a guy that I would really like is cornerback Cooper DeJean out of Iowa. He seemed to be probably one of the best cornerbacks coming out of this year's draft. Now, it's super weird to see him fall to the later part of the first round, but if he does fall, you better bet your bottom dollar the Arizona Cardinals should definitely jump on the opportunity to get this young man, as athletic as they come. Really, really good cornerback. So really interesting there. I would really like him. If not him, I'm kind of in a two-way tie between cornerback Nate Wiggins from Clemson or Kool-Aid McKinstry from Alabama. A lot of people had a lot of knocks from Kool-Aid McKinstry, but honestly, the Cardinals can be in a really good position, just really kind of depending on who falls to the Cardinals with that 27th overall spot. So I like the idea of cornerback. I feel like that would be absolutely ideal. All right, let's move over to the last position that I would love the Arizona Cardinals to potentially target here with that 27th overall pick. We talked about tackles. We talked about cornerbacks. Now let's talk about the edge position. We have longed to have an edge player that has been dominant for years for the Cardinals. I would love to draft one, absolutely. Who can be some potential guys that can fall to the Cardinals? Now I get it. Some people have so many different players going sooner rather than later, right? I've seen so many mock drafts and I've seen these guys fall, so I'm going to throw them out there, right? Maybe a Chop Robinson can fall to the Cardinals out of Penn State. Really good potential edge player here out of Penn State. Another guy that I really do like is Jared Verse as well. And here's the thing, like when we're talking about these prospects, you never know. A lot of these guys that we talked about can go between 1 through 15, 1 through 20, right? Really just depending on who falls to the Cardinals. But I want to just make sure that everybody's fully aware that there's still some really talented players. Yes, we don't have 2 picks in the top 10 for this NFL draft like everybody was projecting the Cardinals to have, but in the grand scheme of things here, we can still get some really talented players, and some people really do fall in the later parts of the first round as well. So the Cardinals can potentially get themselves a real stud, whether it's an offensive lineman or a cornerback or even an edge player. So, ladies and gentlemen, is there anybody here on this list that I mentioned here today that you want the Arizona Cardinals to potentially target? Let me know here in the chat below. Appreciate you guys for tuning in as always. Have a great rest of your day and go Cards.